The topic which we are discussing now is depositories. As you could see in the last lecture, I would have stated few things regarding the depositories. Now, what is this depository? The depository holds the security in dematerialized form for the investors in their beneficiary account. As you could see, I also explained you in brief that was each clearing member is required to maintain a clearing pool account with the depositories. They are required to make an available and the required securities in the designated account on the settlement date, so that the depository runs in an electronic file to transfer the securities from the account to the custodians or clearing member account to that of in the form of NSCCL, right? So this is accordingly which we discussed in the last video, if you have to see regarding this depositories. So you could see now the depository is being classified into two various types, or you can say there are two depositories which is available in India, that is NSDL, and another one is CSDL. So NSDL is nothing but National Security Depository Limited, and CSDL is Central Depository Service Limited. So first we will look forward with NSDL, that is National Security Depository Limited. Now it's a first and the largest depository in India, which was established in the year 1996 in the month of August. And it was also promoted by the Institution of National Stature, responsible for the economic development. And it established a national infrastructure of international standards that handles most of the securities and holds and settles the dematerialized form in the Indian capital market. In the depository system, the ownership and the transfer of the security takes place by the means of electronic book entries. All the outset, this system rids the capital market and the dangers related handling of the papers. So we could see what are the points which we will consider in case of NSDL. Let's get into the points. The first one is elimination of all risk associated with the physical certificate. Now here you could see it is dealing in a physical securities, which will be associated with the security risk or the theft of the stock. So what happened was, most probably even in case of certificate loss or in case of any problematic things, what we do, this eliminates. Generally NSDL helps out us to get the duplicate, or it helps us because it is a dematerialized form. So it is completely systematic manner. We feel it very comfortable using this particular NSDL. Okay, and the second one, if you have to see, the second one is no stamp duty. As you could see, why no stamp duty? There's no stamp duty for the transfer of any kind of securities in the depositories. Okay, so it is very easy for us, and it extends the equity share, debenture instrument or units from mutual funds. Okay, then the third one, if you have to see, it's immediate transfer and registration of the security. It's very easy because it's systematic way. When we are using it in electronic form, it's very easy for us. So we can say immediate transfer is very, very easy. So in the depository environment, once the securities are credited to the investor's account on payout, he will become the legal registrar or the legal owner of the securities. There is no further need to send to the company registration for the registration. So having purchased the securities in the physical environment, the investor has to send the company registrar so that the changes of the ownership can be registered. This process can help very easily. It is usually takes around 3 or 4 months, and it's rarely completed within the statutory framework of 2 months. So what we are supposed to do is exposing the investors to opportunities cost of delay in transfer of risk. We can say risk or losses in transit. To overcome this, normally accepts the practice to hold the securities in the street names, that is not to the register. The change of practice to hold the securities in the street name, that is not the registrar, the change of the ownership. However, if the investor misses a book closure, or the securities are not good for the delivery of the investor, would also stand to the losses to his corporate entities.